I canceled my Disney trip again. I had a really bad experience my last time going to Disney, which was in March 22. I mean, it was awful. Like, I've literally had nightmares about my last trip to Disney World. That's how bad the experience was. Like, I had a ton of really bad, crappy things happen on the trip, but there were like 2 that stood out that were so bad, and I think that they interfere in the current. In other words, like, these are 2 things that I'm really worried about happening again, and I feel essentially if I go back there, I'm gonna have these things happen again. And those 2 things are the Disney room inspections and Disney dress coding. Disney room inspections, let's start with that one. A lot of people do not know that Disney will perform a mandatory every other day room inspection of every single one of its Disney matter. Every single one of their rooms is going to have a Disney room inspection every other day of your stay. And that doesn't, like, if you put the do not disturb thing on the door, doesn't matter, they're gonna knock and they're gonna ask to enter your room. It's really messed up because when you book a room reservation, there's a reasonable expectation you're gonna go there to relax, not to have it where you're gonna get a knock on the door and it's gonna sound like, you know, like stand up for your army inspection. Everyone, all cadets stand up and we're now gonna come in and we're gonna inspect your room. And that's exactly what Disney is doing. So basically, Disney will perform an every other day mandatory room inspection of every single one of its Disney property rooms, with the exception possibly of the Dolphin Swan deal, because it's not like a Disney hotel. They like rent the land. I have no idea, but you get the point. I don't even know if they're following Disney policy. They could if they wanted to, but they don't have to, but you know, you get the idea. So every single one of their Disney hotels, basically you have to stop what you're doing, okay? They can knock and you can let them in and they'll walk around the room and inspect it while you're lying on the bed and watching TV, but it's really quite disturbing. And there's, in a sense, a reasonable expectation that you're booking a hotel, you're going there to relax, you're going there to do your thing, and it's like you don't expect to have it every other day, stand up for your room inspection, you know, like you're in the military or something. So as a recap, my room inspection took place at Port Orleans Riverside Resort. That's a resort that's been in the news a little bit lately. In case you're new to Disney information, they've had issues with ironically, their housekeeper who have been in the news. And Disney has, had some of their cast members in the news lately. Hence when Sheriff Grady Judd, holds up that poster and he's like, Disney worker, or Disney workers are not immune. And, those people get jobs like house person, and essentially that could be the person coming to inspect your room. So, my hotel room inspection took place at Port Orleans Riverside Resort. So this dude comes to the room. I really don't know what's going on. He says, I need to inspect your room. So I think maybe, has there been a complaint? Has there been like a pipe break or something? Why are you here to inspect? Everything's fine. And I told him everything's fine. And he's like, no, I have to get in that room and inspect. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you looking for? He's like, I'm looking for things. And I'm like, what are you looking for? He's like, I'm looking for things. And I'm like, well, can you explain yourself a little bit? Because I don't really know what you're talking about with my room inspection here. He then starts to play like a race card, and he's like, well, maybe you're not understanding me correctly because of my accent. And I'm like, dude, I'm from Miami-Dade County. I understand everything. And I'm like, so after I tell him I'm from Miami, he goes, so you got some Haitian in you? And I'm like, what the F did this guy just say to me? So yeah, you guys have heard the story before, but I had a really crappy experience with room inspections. He leaves and he's like, I'm gonna report you. And I'm like, report me for what? For what? For asking you why you're doing a room inspection, and then by me asking you why you're doing a room inspection, why you're at my room, then making really creepy, weird, crude racial comments. So I go right over to guest services in the lobby. I go right up to someone wearing a dress shirt. I'm not waiting in the line to talk to someone. I go straight up to them. I'm like, I need assistance now. So I tell her what's happening, and they try to immediately go into Disney control mode and tone down the situation. They assign some low-level manager to talk to me about my feelings. He tones down the situation by offering me a $50 coupon. They apologize for his behavior. And I'm like, I don't want this dude coming back to my room. He's really creepy. If this is your policy, I'm here on vacation. I'm going to have to deal with this. But you assign someone else to come do my room inspection, because this guy is not appropriate in how he's speaking to me. So, of course, they don't listen. They say they're not going to send him back. He comes back, and he's creepy as F again. He's like, hello again, how you doing? And he's really cocky about it. He's like, nice to see you again. So when he does come to my room to do the inspection, he just stands there with the door closed. I had other people with me, but it was really creepy. He's standing there with the door closed, blocking the door. I'm sitting at my computer typing, and he's just looking around the room with the door closed. And he goes, is there anything you would like to tell me? Is there anything you would like to talk to me about? And I'm like, no. He goes on, he asks this question he's in there for a good 2 minutes, just staring at me, asking these same repetitive questions. And it was like, leave, you want to look under the bed? What do you want to do? What is this? Okay, so at that point, he finally leaves. Horrible experience. I felt very unsafe the rest of the time there on this trip because I kept seeing him, number one, and number two, I kept feeling like I'm gonna have another encounter. Luckily, I didn't cross paths with him again. It was just the timing of, I didn't happen to be in the room when he came around for the every other day inspection. The other things that you know about this guy is like, there was another room that was a few rooms down. He knocked on the door. A woman had an infant. She was spooked by him too. She full on slammed the door in his face because she was worried like why some dude is at her room while she's got young, you know, infants in the room and stuff like that. And she's full on slammed the door, was like, come back another time. And he didn't like bother to like, I guess, push it with her. They went into full on like Disney, like creepy mode. They were like, are you okay now? They kept calling me on my cell phone during my stay. Are you happy now? Are you gonna make any complaints? We want to make sure you don't make any complaints. It was really creepy. So when you basically have a problem at Disney World, they try to kind of like assess in a sense how much of a problem you're going to be. I told them, number one, I was DAS. That probably wouldn't look good to them to like necessarily, you know, throw someone who has DAS out of the hotel for making a complaint. I told them that I had a history of media, that at one time I was working with television stations and stuff like that, and now I was a vlogger and I went out on my own, and that kind of like, you know, rubbed them the wrong way a little bit, like, maybe we don't want to like, you know, we'll tell another guest to leave. So that kind of saved me, but I never felt fully safe with them. I felt at any time they were going to come around, I felt at any time I was going to come back to the room and see the blinky light on the phone, you know, like we're asking you to leave the resort or something like that, and people in the comments would be like, oh, if you didn't do anything, like why would they ask you to leave? Because that's what Disney does. That's what Disney does. Telling them that I had a history in media and all that kind of saved me from their full-on Disney Mafia mode coming out. But the thing is, you make one complaint at Disney, even the simplest thing, someone talking to you inappropriately, you fell, this or that, they're gonna go into full-on Disney Mafia mode because that's what they do. Okay, they're gonna go into that mode, and it's gonna be way more disproportionate than the incident. So in my stay, they kept calling me multiple times, not to really make sure everything was okay, because let's be real, if they really wanted to make sure everything was okay, they wouldn't have sent the same house person back to my room and allowed him to continue to harass me. They would have either, you know, marked, don't go back to this room, or got me a different person, or maybe, I think they even had offered at one point, they said like they from the front office would personally search my room and be the inspector. You didn't really give a damn, but they kept calling me to make sure I was happy, but because they gave me a $50 coupon and they told me to go shove some beignets in my mouth and eat them, and that way I would feel all too. Disney dress coding. Disney dress coding has gone out of their effing minds. Disney used to be the type of place I would see the giant tour groups from South America and all of these different tour groups and young people and people having fun at Disney. Every single girl was in short shorts, a halter top. I remember at Epcot, I bought a halter top that was completely backless. It tied around the neck, had a little string tied the back together. It was like silky, and I bought it in one of the pavilions at Epcot. Now that top you couldn't wear at Epcot. You get your butt immediately dress coded and thrown out of the park. Attire there has completely changed. You used to be able to wear whatever you wanted to Epcot, and we're not talking scandalous outfits. You were allowed to wear short shorts to Epcot and a crop top and a halter top, a top that tied around the neck. Not anymore at Disney. Now you need to wear like basically a Little House on the Prairie dress so that you look like you're like a pilgrim or something. Let me remind you that Disney World is the swamp, okay? As much as they mark up the prices and this and that, Disney World at the end of the day is the swamp. It's not the Grand Wailea, and you'll be like, oh, well, the Grand Wailea is out of my price bracket. Well, if you look at the Grand Wailea prices, the Grand Wailea in Maui is the same price as Disney, so that should tell you something. Why do I think Disney dress coding is happening? Why have they gone in so strict with what girls are wearing? We'll get into that in a second. I think it has a lot to do with what their main customer is. Okay, I'm gonna be real. Ever since the fruit and vegetable show left Epcot, because telling kids to eat healthy and get outside was controversial, and now unfortunately a lot of Disney vloggers and theme park vloggers aren't exactly promoting the best on, healthy eating. Your average Disney tourist is probably not in the best of health, and they are your main person spending money at Disney. If that is your main person going to Disney, they want to feel good about themselves. Disney wants them to feel good about themselves because they're the ones spending money at Disney. And that means that that person may not like looking at a young girl who's thin in short shorts because it's going to make her feel bad about herself. And then she may not spend as much money at Disney because she's annoyed looking at the girl in the short shorts. That is, in my opinion, the real reason for the Disney dress coding. It has a lot more to do with what the girl looks like than what the girl is wearing, because to be fair, I don't think this is universal. I've seen, you know, women who are larger wearing the same type of outfits and they're not getting dress coded. It's the girls that are thin and in shape, and Disney wants to keep their market happy. If that is now Disney's primary market, Disney wants to keep their primary consumer happy. And if that means dress coding girls and discouraging that type of girl from going to the theme park, then that's what Disney is going to do to make money. You know, I've had a Disney security guard wanding my butt, spending a little bit too much time wanding my butt. Okay, are they doing that with the larger women or just me? Are men getting dress coded? Are they being told their shorts are too short, their pants are too tight? What about men who wear crop tops or tank tops, or men who wear muscle shirts where they're a little too flimsy? Are they being dress coded, or is it just the women? So this has been on my mind too. So that's the second issue, which is dress coding. And to be honest, I would literally have to go around the mall and try to find something that would be appropriate that I could wear, such as a pilgrim dress. Let me show you just something random in a window here, because people don't wear pilgrim dresses today. So let me show you something in front of Forever 21. You'll see this outfit here with a mini skirt. See the girl with the mannequin with the mini skirt? So that's something that's being shown that you could wear today as an outfit, and you can't wear that. You can't wear that because mini skirts are not allowed at Disney World. You need to wear a nice pilgrim dress. Some of you in the comments are gonna be like, oh, well, they're doing it because some of my favorite comments are, Disney is a family-oriented place. No, it's not. Epcot is known as drinks around the world, and you know how many times I've avoided drunken men at Disney World? Drunken men that are not necessarily single. Drunken men that are there with their families, sitting at the resort, cackling at you, cursing at you. I've experienced it all at Disney, believe me. Realistically, I canceled my trip again because between these two issues, the Disney room inspection and the Disney dress coding, I just can't do it. I can't pay money to be abused at Disney. Doesn't make sense. So I did cancel again, but I have 2 trips planned for Universal Studios. So between these 2 things, the Disney room inspections and the Disney dress coding policy, which is bizarre, I can't see spending hundreds of dollars to go to Disney, hundreds of dollars a day to go to Disney, when I know what is going to occur. It doesn't make sense. When would I go to Disney? I would go to Disney, for example, if I'm living up there in Orlando and I just want to go there for the day and I'm not expending the type of money and time it would take to go from Miami to up to there and then have that type of possible letdown if I have a very bad time. So it's just not worth it to do this type of time and expense where you're going back and forth from Miami. It would have to be where I'm living up there and the only expenses is basically my time that I wasted my day there, because and that would be assuming if I have a yearly pass or not. But I do have 2 amazing trips planned to Universal Studios, which I'm very excited about. Oh, something I was gonna get into is that if you go on Universal Studios Instagram, you will notice that they featured a girl who's wearing a short tennis skirt and a halter top that is partially backless, and they featured her on their main Instagram showing a young girl having fun at Universal Studios. They would dress code you so fast at Disney World for wearing that. You gotta be kidding. And at Universal, it's normal because at the end of the day, it's not that they're making it normal and people be like, oh, anything goes at Universal. No, it's normal because it's normal. It's normal for a girl to wear a crop top. It's normal for a girl to wear a tank top. It's normal for a girl to wear shorts and a skirt. It's not normal to wear a pilgrim dress to the swamp in Disney. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I wanted to explain that I did go ahead and cancel my trip because I had just posted a video not that long ago on my channel that says I had a new trip planned, but I did cancel again. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate you guys so much. If you are new, please do consider subscribing. Click that notification bell so that way you know when I post. So stay tuned for my Universal vlogs. I think I'm gonna have a really good time there because I can wear whatever I want. And yeah, you'll probably see me wearing some crop tops and some shorts there. So stay tuned for that too. Okay, so see you soon in my next video, and bye.